Now, this truck here was powered by a 1.8 liter gasoline motor, and now that I've switched it to a VW diesel, there's going to be some cooling problems. The stock rad fan was a mechanical fan, which means it turned when the motor was on. The VW was ran by an electric fan. So I needed to get an electric fan mounted in this truck to cool this motor. Now, this is the stock VW rad fan. So, from my expectations and knowledge, I really don't think this thing would cool the car very good. It's very large. It has not a very good pull on it. It's even got wasted space here in the shroud that actually lets air pass through when you're going at a higher speed because the fan can't keep up. So my first attempt, I built this last year. This is a W-body fan, so this is out of like Illumina, Grand Prix, mid-90s, early 2000s, and it is mounted to the stock Mazda rad fan. You know what, in theory this worked. I built it on the table, it turned on, it had a lot of pull through the fan. I didn't really like how I mounted it with these big 3/8 bolts, but it worked. I went to put it in the truck, and it did not work. This rad fan is 9 inches deep. So that means that it didn't clear the front of the motor, so I kind of didn't think ahead in that. So this year, what I've done is every time I got a car for scrap that had a low-profile rad fan, I kept it. These right here are very, very low profile, but the only problem is that the actual fan body sticks out farther than the outside of it. So that when this ran, if it was tight to the rad, it would rub. Now these are out of like a Ford Taurus. I used to run these in my mud truck. They built custom brackets. They have an amazing amount of pull. They're very low profile. Another one that I got, which this thing here is basically the exact same, where it has that 1/4 inch of depth off of it. But this is out of a V8 Grand Cherokee. Now these things, when you plug these in, if they're not bolted down, they'll actually almost hover off the table. This has a crazy amount of pull. They are extremely powerful. So obviously that's the first one I tried, and it was way too big. Now I do have this low profile rad fan mounted. Now I have no idea what this is out of. It was in my pile that I obviously kept to do this job. I had to do a little bit of trimming on the shroud to get it around the filler neck and the inlet and outlet out of the rad. But it mounts in there very nicely. I have lots of space. And the factory holes line up. And I'm just going to put a plug into it and wire it in now. And this is my ground and my positive. These are all ran through the relay. So I'll run my wires nice and neat around it. And we'll have a rad fan mounted. But I'm just telling you guys that sometimes with these trucks, when you're doing something so custom as a motor swap, or even just putting an electric rad fan in an older vehicle, sometimes you have to go to the scrapyard, walk around until you find something that works. I think this rad fan is out of a Toyota Camry, maybe? I'm not too sure. It just must have been out of something that I took to scrap this summer, so not sure. But it works good in there. The fan works great. The bearings seem great. And I have it all mounted to the factory rad. So that's one thing off the list. Rad fan's done.